Hey, y'all. Hey, everyone. Just getting live.
Yeah, I was just
Should we be talking to people?
Is it? Yeah.
All right.
It's live.
All right.
All right. Oh, well, great. Thanks for the heads up. Wow.
We're like, what? Is this working? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
What? What's that?
It's so
What's
weird because
up?
that's not where it is on my screen at all.
Yeah, mine either.
Really? Oh, it's on mine.
It looks like you're just like, and Mike is right here, and I'm like over. I don't know. That's all right.
Well, that's close to the rest of the world.
What?
Yeah, we'll actually tell you what we're actually doing here. Probably don't know.
Well, we will.
No, I know. Yeah.
Hi, David.
Hey, Elizabeth. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Am I live? Yeah, I'm live, yes?
Oh, yeah, you're
Yep.
live. This is
live.
live.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
So good to see you.
I know. I can't believe I'm seeing you right now. So for people that don't know, well, this is David
Your hair
Johnson.
looks great for a pandemic.
Wait a second.
Right?
Yeah. But you
Who's
look
doing your
fantastic,
hair?
by the way.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Thank you very much. It's very nice. It's been a year. I can't believe it's been a whole year. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know
that's
it's
crazy.
been a really crazy year. Mike is. Hi, Mike. You having trouble?
No, I can hear everybody, but I'm looking at the Facebook messages, and some of them are saying that they can't hear audio, or it's in and out, or coming in blips.
In
Oh.
blips.
Blips.
Let's see.
I don't know. That sounds clean. We've got some people watching on YouTube. Got some likes going.
Oh, that's nice.
Hopefully, people on YouTube can hear as well. We got 3 people watching in the chat.
I
In the
just
chat
watched
on...
the real time, and I can hear you perfectly, Mike.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're okay.
Okay, good.
This is what happens on episode 1.
Yeah, working out the kinks.
I like the background
David
a lot.
Johnson. I met David a year. It's a little over a year ago. Now.
Yeah, we first met August of last year.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, we're doing an original docudrama on Deep Space. We haven't released it yet, but we shot it a little over a year ago. And it's been kind of top secret this whole time. I'm announcing it now. But,
You know, there's a lot of interest too, because when this all was happening, I did a little blurb on Facebook about where I was, because we disappeared for this shoot because we shot it on location. So for those 2 weeks, like, where are you? What's going on? And blah blah blah. And I snuck a couple posts like, why are you dressed like a priest? And that house looks haunted. And who are all these people? So I let people know, and the genre people love. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to jump in.
No,
It has a lot of interest.
Give
It's
him
awesome.
a little teaser. That's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
And it's a true story.
It is. It's based on a true story. David plays priest in this story, and the title of the production is Dead. So there will be definitely more to come, but that's how we met. And
Yes.
Wow.
honestly, you're probably the busiest person I've seen out of all my friends that are actors.
And
So tell us
I've
what
been
you're
very
doing.
Lucky. Well, so much happened. We met, and that's why, because we'll do like a catch up between you and me, because that way, and everyone can like fill in or have an idea what's going on. So we met on production of Dead Remains, and it was in Buffalo, New York. And I remember flying out of New York City because I do mostly theater, and we get there, and it was on location, a real haunted house, and all the events that
Oh,
you'll see
wow.
that took place in this house in Buffalo, New York. That's been closed to the public, but people will know it. I don't want to give anything away, but people will know it, and you'll see ads and stuff for it. But I didn't know. I knew we were shooting in the same town. I didn't realize we were doing like 3 a.m. shoots in the actual haunted house where like the murders took place and that, like, so, and I'm already kind of like jittery, so it scared me, and I
Oh no.
did an exorcism in the house. It was, so the circumstances that we met under, both me and Elizabeth, were extreme. You know, it's like you jump off a plane, you go to this hotel, you check in, they throw a priest costume on you, and next thing you know, you're in a van driving out to the middle of the woods. It's like 2 o'clock when you're doing an exorcism. So
Just your average day.
it was crazy, and it was a pretty decently timed out shoot. Like, it was over a week that we were doing the whole thing. So since the pandemic, so yeah, I've been I did 2 commercials. I did a voiceover of a cartoon called The Hidden Hand with a company called Lamplighter. I did a film. Well, the thing is I did a lot of filming last year prior to pandemic. A lot. I mean, like, I did, I think 7 television series, 3 shorts, and 3 features.
Wow.
So
That's
all
a lot of
happened.
work.
It was a lot. It was the most I've ever had in my life. I mean, knock on wood, and thank God, but it was the most I had in my life. So
That's great. We're going to put you to work tonight.
Yeah, I
we had a
can't wait
captive
for what you have in
audience.
store right now.
Well, I don't
I
have
have no
anything in
idea
store,
what
so
you're
that's
about
the
to
best.
experience.
Awesome.
I'm
That's
so
great.
excited.
So yeah.
And I
So
like the
here's what we're going to
background.
do. Thanks. That's the logo of the company Audiojack. That's my
I
company.
love it. Oh, you're
Thank you.
Audiojack.
I am.
I know Audiojack. I mean, I know it. Yeah. Wow.
Nice. Yeah. So in Audiojack, for those that are listening that don't know, Audiojack is an audio-based movie. You listen to it, and there's no words, there's no video, and there's no music. It's hundreds of sounds that are edited together to tell a story for your imagination. So you'll close your eyes and you'll listen, and that's what we're going to do here. And the Audiojack's going to play, and you might hear the wind in trees blowing, and you might hear some feet, and they stop, and a door opens. Well, your imagination memory are going to kick on because we have an association to sound, and our ears are always on. We never tell you the actual story behind any Audiojack. That way there's never a wrong answer. So if you think you're running through the forest, get chased by a teddy bear and later coming out of his eyes, then that's what the story is. And that's awesome. That's the point of this. It's a way to let people engage because there's no language barrier. There's no gender barrier. There's no race barrier with sound design. If I had a glass here and it breaks in France, it doesn't go le break. Like, it's the same sound. And that's the beauty of this. It lets us all connect with our imaginations. There's a whole bunch of science behind this, why it's really important. Your mind gets a form of REM activity. There's all sorts of different things going on that refresh your mind and allow it. And you can go to audiojack.com and learn more about it and see all the research done with amazing programs around the world. But for today, we're going to focus on the fun part of it, the creative element that's going on here. Is we're going to hop inside the Audiojack app, and we are going to pick an Audiojack, and we're going to listen to it. And everyone that's watching this is going to be able to do the same with us. So everyone's going to listen, and it's going to play twice. So the first time you hear it, let your imagination just whatever you're hearing, you're like, oh my God, that's what happened. Awesome. Then it's going to be a second time for you to brainstorm and really come up with the story you want it to be. It's not guess what every sound is. It's let it tell a story that you want it to be. You get to be the director, the writer, the editor, the actors, the cinematographer, the narrative. This is a prompt, a way to get your imagination to engage. And then after it plays, after the Audiojack plays a second time, we're going to go around and everyone's going to share what they came up with. And we're going to hear 5 different stories based on what we're hearing here with this and jump into it. And then everyone that's watching along, hopefully there's a chat option with whatever you're watching. Please share your stories as it's unfolding for everyone else in the chat to comment along. And we're going to be watching various ones. We're streaming to a lot of places. Activity Space is up. Elizabeth is watching that. I'm watching a YouTube stream and whatnot. But we'd love to hear your stories. And this is, you can all do at home, whatnot. Audiojack app is free, but that's what we're going to do today. And so you jump in, David, fellow David, one of the Daves I know. If any Kids in the Hall fans are out there and know that song, we're going to jump in here.
One.
Oh my God, it's amazing! I'll see you all later.
It's a great show, though. I love that show.
Yeah. So we're going to jump in here in a bit. Elizabeth, anything else you want to add to this before we get started?
No, I'm excited.
You do. Yeah, and keep in mind, there is no wrong answer with this. While you're listening to imagination go, you're going to create your narrative. And I'm going to mute everyone here in the chat. And then after we're done, we'll unmute you. And it's going to be real fun. We're to jump inside now, inside the Audiojack app, through the power of technology and the wonders of editing. We are going inside and out. There we are.
Oh, cool.
It is not 9:41 a.m. where I am at. It's just what happens when you use Zoom. Don't understand. I don't care. But here we are. So here we are inside the Audiojack app. And so we're going to go in here. We're going to hop into one of the categories. And all you can play at home if this is chopping your feed. If you're having any issues with the stream, you can go do this on your own. We're going to hop in here and we're going to go into Live Forever. And see here, it's going to hit the repeat button. Going to play twice. And we'll chat afterward. Everyone good? Everyone on board? You ready for this?
You
Ready.
Awesome. All right, great. So everyone's getting muted, and without further ado, and for all you at home, enjoy the show. right now, the audio jack is going to play one more time, the same one. Now, create the story you want it to be. Become the director, the actor. Think about story, plot, all sorts of different elements. It could be anything you want. All right, everyone. That is an audio jack. Hope it was super lovely for you. Um, And now is the fun part. We get to go around and share what we came up with for our series, which is the really neat thing here, and get to see what you came up with. There's no wrong answer. It's whatever you want it to be. I think, Elizabeth, the thing really here is just getting people to share and just see what we all came up with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Yes
to
from
hear
her.
what you think,
We're gonna
David.
go with that there. You guys can turn yours back on so we can all chat and discuss as people hear it.
There we go.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. All right, great. So, with that
That one
said,
was crazy.
yeah,
The lasers
That took me
flipping
by
out.
surprise.
It did. That was a lot more sound than I was used to.
All of a sudden, we were getting attacked by something
oh,
not of
really?
this world.
Nice.
Yes. My impression as well.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Laser
who would like
beams.
to go first? Who would like to go first? Who wants to share what they came up with first, whether it's a story idea or an actual narrative the group wants to. And all of you watching at home that are in some chat option, please share your story and we'll read it aloud if we can, if we have enough time to get those in as well. That's part of the fun. So please share, and tell us what you came up with. But till then, I don't know, who would like to go first?
I'm still writing per usual.
Uh-huh.
I can
Nice.
go. I did write a story about this.
Yeah, you got a story.
Do it.
So I do remember this one, and I did write a little story because I was so excited to hear it.
Okay.
So this is what I wrote. It's August 1947, 3 p.m. The sun is set, and I had been out in the woods all day and decided to head back home. A storm is coming as the wind starts picking up. Haven't seen this kind of weather since last month, and even we don't talk about what happened. That's classified, my father would say. As I'm walking, trying to enjoy the remaining calming sounds of the woods, I hear an old plane overhead and stop to watch as it passes by, but think nothing of it as a nearby base is nearby, and all kinds of planes are flying around quite often. I start walking again until I hear a crash off in the distance and wonder if it's the plane that just passed by or something else. I start to speed up my walk so that I can try and see what's going on as many more planes start flying overhead. Maybe a training mission, I think to myself. I finally see the path leading out of the woods and into my neighborhood and continue my pace. As I finally leave the trail and enter my neighborhood, weird sounds start to envelop me, and even the dogs are reacting to it ever so frantically. They're all looking up, and so I turn my head to see what's going on. I cannot believe it. An alien spacecraft with a smaller one coming down overhead. I'm in complete shock. I take off running, trying to get back home and call my dad at the base. But before I knew it, the smaller spacecraft is now hovering completely still in the night sky, and what appears to be heavily armed aliens being transferred down from beams of light and blocking my usual way home.
Nice.
They immediately start firing their weapons in my direction as I turn to run, and I catch a glimpse of the U.S. Army hunkered in place at the end of the block, and all hell breaks loose. Bullets and laser beams are flying everywhere, soldiers and aliens pushing on one another with explosions left and right until a soldier picks up a dead alien's own weapon and fires at the hovering spacecraft, causing it to crash down and killing the remaining aliens on the ground.
Nice shot.
I start running away from the town and the carnage, trying to make my way back to the woods, all the while trying to comprehend what is happening. A handheld radio laying on the ground starts squelching for some reason as additional planes fly overhead. I make it back to the trail. I turn in, pause, look at the thunderstorms approaching. Within the flashes of lightning, within the dark clouds, I see multiple alien spacecraft approaching, and I realize this was just the beginning. And it's a story of Walter Halt Jr., Roswell, New Mexico.
Nice.
Oh man,
great.
dude, that was crazy.
I like it.
Wow.
That was awesome, Mike.
Oh.
That's
you.
cool. Dude, I got total District 9 kind of imagery for the spacecraft while you were going off on
Yeah.
it. Just that that kind of vibe and gun as well too. Just like
Mm.
wow. But then you said the
Love
Roswell
it.
stuff at the end, and it changed. That's cool.
Yes.
That was
It's
wild.
a month after the actual, supposed spacecraft
Right.
crash.
Alleged.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I've been to Roswell. I get that.
Me
Have
too.
you guys all? Have you been?
Yep.
Okay.
I love
Yeah, I spent
I've
a week
never
there.
been.
I
I
have
want to
not
see it
yet.
so bad.
It's a
Yeah.
weird
great
town.
alien town.
Oh my
Gotta
god.
go.
That'd be
Yeah.
so fun.
I can communicate with people.
Right?
Like, come back with us.
Yes.
Pick me up.
You got a couple of museums dedicated to you and your family.
Wow.
No big
Awesome.
deal.
What do your creatures look like? What do your creatures look like, Mike?
They look like not the typical like smaller type aliens, but actually tall, like 6 foot, 7 foot tall aliens.
Okay.
So yeah.
But similar, like with the
Ooh.
big eyes, the big eye,
Yes.
lanky kind of.
Yep.
Like the
Thing.
aliens and signs, kind of.
Not
They-
those were creepy.
They were
Those were
creepy.
really
They were
creepy.
tall, lanky things.
And they did these weird movements.
Yeah, they
Oh
did.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that spray, that poison.
And
that- You're all like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Cousins.
Woo. I like it. Nice, man. Thanks for sharing
That
that.
was really good.
Now, I'm sure everyone got the exact same thing, right? The exact-
Yes.
Sure, everybody did.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Would you like to go next, Lindsay? Would you share what you
Oh,
got?
I'm
I'd love to
still
hear.
writing. It always takes
Oh.
me forever. You know.
All right. Then I think we're gonna have to go. Do we
David,
go to
you
our
wanna go?
guest? Do we go to? Yeah, David, we're going to you.
Man, I think I followed the instructions incorrectly because I kind of followed it like almost like a relaxation exercise. Is that
No, that's
okay if I
great.
didn't write anything down?
You can do it
Yeah.
any way you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
best way. It is a
Just like-
relaxing tool. I mean, people use this to fall asleep to because your mind focuses on the story and the fatigue of your body takes over and you stop thinking about what's keeping you up. Like people have insomnia use Audiojack because they listen to this and eventually they fall asleep listening to
feeds
this.
your
with their minds
dreams.
on it. Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how I thought of it when I started listening. Like it would be something that would totally fuel my dreams because you
Ooh.
get in that weird state of where
That
you're
is
half
cool.
asleep. Yeah, I mean, do you have a sound machine? Because I have the sound machine that I listen
No, I have
to.
the Audiojack app.
Well, that's what that's what this that kind of right. I mean, you can kind of pick your dreams. As a
Yeah.
do that for you. You can
What did you come up with? What did you dream? What was
okay,
going on?
well, you're gonna have to give me little reminders because I'm really clear on the beginning as to where I was, and then well, you'll see. I'll be like this, and I'll let you know. Like this is the spot where I'm stuck.
Awesome.
Remind me what happened.
Yeah.
So I dreamt. Well, I dreamt. I was in a forest. I woke up, but not with a tent or anything. Nothing with me. My shoes and my clothes, and that was it. And I'm looking around. I don't have any friends or anybody with me. And so I began searching. And I don't see a highway anywhere. So I look above and I hear planes, aircraft. So it wasn't big commercial aircraft, like rinky dinky old style planes. So I figured I might be near, what are those things called when they jump out of the airplanes? Skydiving. I thought maybe I was near like a skydiving place. So I'm like, I gotta get home. And it wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, it was mild. So I wasn't in any hurry because I was freezing or sweating or anything. So I make my way and I see more and more aircraft passing overhead. And eventually I come upon the house. And now I don't know if this is because of you, Elizabeth, or if it's because I saw a house, but I've been thinking of that set, that haunted house that freaked me out really bad. I see the house in the distance, and we were in a forest, and I'm like, So, you don't want to come out of the woods, when you're wandering around in the woods, you don't want to go up to a stranger house and let yourself in. So I approach the house, and as I'm coming up, I hear noise, so I know there's people inside. And as I get to the front door of the house, I look in, I don't hear anybody, and I would never do this, but I let myself in. So I let myself into the house, and I hear like the laser sounds. So I turn, and at first it sounded so real, but I could hear like noise in the background, and it turns out it's two guys gaming, playing on their PS4.
Ooh, cool.
That's the sound
Okay.
I heard. And so um, they catch me because when somebody made a noise, somebody was looking down, focusing on the sounds, and one of you made a noise, and I jumped, and it made me think like maybe they caught me in the house. So when I know, and you don't want anybody to catch it, sneaking around.
Yeah, it's a bad thing.
So I ran away, and they chased after me, and that's where I lost my sound. Like I didn't lose my sound, but I kind of like I know I was back on the road, and I saw people ahead. But that's the idea of where I was. Like I was spying on people, but looking for help, but not knowing where I was. And the laser sounds, which were so jarring, that those were kids playing their game, like adult kids, they were playing their PS. And
That's really neat.
yeah, that's how I took it. Like I'm really like a sci-fi dreamer, but when I do have dreams, they're either like they're usually scary. They're usually like have some sort of edge to them. And this is like that's the feeling I got. Like I was, how did I get here? I woke up, I'm in the woods, I find this strange house, I sneak into it looking for help. So yeah, it was a little scary, but I loved it.
That's cool.
I actually feel very relaxed right now from that whole experience.
Good.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Nice, right? Could even be crazy and still let you relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I was so jarred by somebody made a or something. I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, like I got caught like in this person's house, and I see the guys, and that's where the scary part.
I had my mic on, and I think I hit the desk with my knee, and then turned my mic off and realized that. So that might have been it, which is really funny.
It's really neat how you can really get into this. Like I didn't, I wasn't even really trying. Like I mean, to be honest, because there's people watching, so you want to like look at yourself in the camera and be like, do I look okay with my hair? And so I had my mind focused on other things, but without out of my control, I'm like, oh shit, I'm kind of getting into this, like I'm falling into this, and I can very easily see myself like buying into this whole thing, because sometimes you hear people's ideas and you're like, oh god, this is so bizarre, but this is very real. Like I felt myself kind of like cross over. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
real,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I felt myself really cross over. So that was really cool.
Neat.
And I didn't think that was gonna happen. I thought, oh my god, I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of like something gimmicky to say or whatever. But this actually worked.
That's sort of how I felt the first time I participated. I didn't think I would come up with anything.
I'm being very honest right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally be into this. I can't tell you how many times I've looked online for like sleep help, and they say there's these theories. Like, I don't know about you, but I take all kinds of stuff to help me sleep at night, and they say they have all these guides, like limit your television watching, don't be staring at a computer, Well, what do you do when you're in bed at night and you're trying to fall asleep? You put on TV or something, right? So this is something that's really cool because you get a story, but it's a story in your head, and you can hear the story happening without words, because words will keep you awake. And it worked. I mean, it worked. Pretty really neat. I can't wait to do another one, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yep.
I want an ocean one. Like I don't want to tell you what I want.
There are tons of.
There are.
And airplanes, like jumping on. Do you have the airplane dream where you're falling in your dreams? You ever have that one?
Yes, plenty of times.
I haven't had that one. I fly a lot.
Yeah, oh, you're lucky then.
Lindsay's visiting people in her spirit form.
Yeah.
I wish. That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I would love to fly.
That was a great story. That's really neat how it engaged.
I love that there's these random gamer kids like in the crazy house too.
Well, but like I saw like finding a spot, but it's that.
Yeah. It makes sense for crazy sounds you're hearing. Like it could come from anything.
Well, you're creeping up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you turn that corner.
I think the dog ratted you out.
The dog ratted you out.
Well, especially like in an intense thing, all of a
Traitor.
sudden you turn a corner and you see something that's like not, it's kids playing video games, like, oh, okay. But then something else
right.
comes and gets you. It's like that false sense of security, and all of a sudden, like, something
Mhm.
pops on you. That's neat. That's a really
Yeah.
creative
That was
way to
really
look at the
cool.
story.
Yeah,
I
I
love
didn't
Yeah,
expect that one
nice.
either.
Yeah, that's
It
fun.
was good.
Awesome,
Loved it.
David. All right,
Loved it.
nice.
And you
Yeah,
were all
Lindsay, are you
worried,
good?
job.
not doing it the right way or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job, dude.
It's a lot. Like you're like, oh shoot, I have to think of something. So like, I'm like closing my eyes and thinking, okay, what am I hearing? What am I seeing? And at first, I didn't want to be like, I can't hear anything. 'Cause I didn't hear anything at first. And then when it came in, I was like, oh, here we go. And then I didn't have to really trigger it. Like I woke up
Yeah.
in the woods.
Once you
know,
just
like-
let your mind relax, like it just takes over for you.
For real.
Yeah.
You know
though.
what?
awesome.
Audiojack is like a good indicator for me of how my week has been. Because if it takes longer sometimes for me to get into it, I'm like, oh
Mhm.
man, I really need this more than I thought.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yes.
That's a great way to think of it. You can feel
Yeah.
like you're clogged and you need
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually a
Getaway.
really- yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Like you ever sit down and start to write and it's very difficult because you're blocked. This is something that would alleviate that block. It's like going for a
That's what
5-minute
I was
run, but
telling
with your
David
brain.
one time. Or
Yep,
David.
people use it for writer's block.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Yes.
Yeah,
Too
it's-
many
I mean, it's-
Davids. Now I'm all like,
I mean,
what?
that's the really neat thing about Audiojack. Like, it's used in so many different areas. It's used
Mhm.
for people to fall asleep. It's used in art and writing programs around the world. It's used in English programs. It's used for people with writer's block. It's used for people going through therapy that are going through like chemotherapy or dialysis, so they're not looking at everything else around them. They can close their eyes and feel like they're somewhere else and go through their treatment better. It's all for allowing us to, because people aren't, it all comes down to the fact of this little device right here that happens to have Audiojack on it. But when people have time to daydream, when we have time to daydream and let our mind wander, we don't let that happen. We pull out our phone and instantly do. So if we have a little bit of time, we pull out our phone because it's this innate thing. People think they're multitasking, even though
Yeah.
that's not a real thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
It's like all this stuff. No, it's doing a bunch of
So
things poorly at the same
habitual
time.
now.
But
Right.
it's this element that when you daydream, you get a light form of REM activity in the mind, and that helps relieve stress and anxiety. It lets you process information throughout the day. It's like the background programs on a computer that are always running while it's on. It's your mind refreshing itself. It's like take a time out, fantasize, think, daydream, whatever, and your mind's actually refreshing itself. But when you don't get that because we're stagnating it, it increases stress and anxiety, which turn into insomnia and depression. And it's scientific. It's science. So we've worked with brain programs and done studies about this to show the difference of taking an Audiojack break. And it's like Elizabeth said, like, oh my God, I could tell what kind of week I had. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, I needed that.
This is a great
Yeah,
idea.
it really
This
is
whole thing.
incredible because after the first or second time I participated, when we were doing these sessions before, I went onto the website to check out like the different research and uses and stuff. And they also mentioned how it's used with people who have Alzheimer's or dementia, and they'll listen to things and random
Mhm.
memories will pop up again and everything. And just the uses are just, it's really cool.
Yeah. So with that, would you like to go next and share your story?
I will go next.
Lizzie?
I didn't
Excellent.
finish it because I got sucked into all of this fun chat, but I can kind of fudge it as I go. So
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complete. Just kind of, yeah. And by the
Yeah.
way, for you watching at home, you don't have to come up with a complete story. Like definitely, like if this was in the classroom or if people are doing it on your own, you could keep repeating the Audiojack. We just have a little bit of time and we like to just jumpstart our creativity a little bit with this.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. What I never imagined could happen where I live is happening. We're at war and it's here at home. The town I'd known for as long as I can remember has been almost entirely turned to rubble. At the edge of town is a base that everyone has moved to. Everyone left at least. I went out and searched for my dog as we lost her in all the confusion. A lot of dogs have lost their people, and all the barking from different directions makes me feel like I might never find her. I suddenly hear a plane flying overhead and duck behind an old car. This is unlike any other war of the past. This is a war with extraterrestrials. We don't know where they came from. We're just trying to survive. Their technology is insane, and that's as far as I got. But what I was seeing was like being sort of flipped out that this ET race has these robots that are like Transformers. You heard the loud, it sounded like loud steps to me. And so I just saw like these alien controlled like transformer things, and that's what was shooting out the lasers or whatever. And that's
Nice.
what was attacking us. And like, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, it's a giant robot shooting lasers. What are you gonna do? But yeah, just the fact that it's at home and how insane that is.
What does
Love
the
that.
robot look like? What does it look like?
It just made me think of the Transformers. That's kind of as far as I got, except not all colorful, because that would be
So-
too happy. Like,
Bumblebee's not tumbling out of the
Yeah,
sky.
Bumblebee.
no, sadly not. Sadly not. These were
That's interesting.
much darker, all one color type deal.
So Megatron.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh,
Yes,
Megatron.
yes, more like that.
I love Megatron, the original Megatron.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that's cool. I like it. Did they? Is there like, what do you want to happen next? What do you want the story to become?
Oh man. I don't know. I would like to, I mean, we always would like to think that humanity would be able to come back and win and survive all of that. But to
Yeah.
me, it just felt kind of bleak. Like, we don't,
Okay.
because it's the first time encountering aliens. Like, we don't even know where they're from. They have all this crazy tech, and we're just trying to just literally survive and figure it
Awesome.
out as we go. So it's kind of up in the air. Who knows?
All right, I like that.
And you're okay.
Nice. Right?
You're safe.
Good job.
Oh, man.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it's time for Elizabeth's go.
It
on this
is
one.
time for
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Dun, dun,
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, got a few minutes left. We got a few minutes left. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this was interesting for me because I kept getting these flashbacks to my childhood.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
I think it's because in the beginning the sounds reminded me so much of, I grew up in South Jersey, and the sounds reminded me so much of home. Like hearing the bugs in the background and the way the wind was, and a lot of times I would spend time on my swing set just like sitting there and listening.
Mm-hmm.
And my bedroom actually faced this really large radio tower in the distance, and as I got older it would disappear more and more because the trees would grow, obviously. But
Yeah.
when I was younger, I imagined I would daydream a lot, and it got me in trouble a lot. but
Same.
I would have these, I would stare at this radio tower sometimes and think to myself, if anything ever goes down, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to that radio tower. And I don't know
Like,
how many miles
that's the
away
place
it
to
was,
go.
but I would always imagine that that would be it. So when the Audiojack started, I was like in the backyard of the house I grew up in, and then like I heard the planes overhead, but when I looked at the sky, there was something like off, and there were weird things that would happen sometimes. My very first UFO I actually saw in South Jersey in front of my house.
Really?
So I feel like this Audiojack kind of created this montage of my childhood.
Yeah, totally.
So I felt like obviously something was off going down. When storms would come through, it was very menacing. And the first time I saw a UFO, it was actually right when a storm was starting. So the wind was swirling, and I remember looking to the sky, and that's when I saw it in the sky. So in the Audiojack, I was in the backyard, but then these planes were going overhead, but something just felt like kind of dark and menacing about it. The clouds were darker, And I remember moving to the front of my house, and that's kind of when I knew that something was wrong. And my first instinct was, for whatever reason, I have to go to that radio tower. So it was like making my journey to that radio tower, and in the process, obviously all hell broke loose for a moment, it seemed. And yeah, I was just like witnessing these things happen overhead, but I was going through the forest at the same time, making my way to the tower. It was kind of like that. Could go into
That's
lot
really
more
neat.
detail,
Wow.
probably, but
That's
it
deep.
was,
I
it was
know.
weird. It kind of threw me off a bit, and also the radio was also symbolic to me too. Hearing the radio afterwards, because when I was a kid, I would always turn on my walkie-talkies and I would just listen to cross chatter, or I would try to find stations where other people were talking. And so for me, like, I had my radio with me. I was going to the radio tower. I was a kid
It totally
again.
took you back.
It's like 9 years old, heading to the radio tower.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And it was like, yep, the apocalypse happened, and I've been born ready. So
Let's go.
Yeah, I was ready to go.
9-year-old with a
That's
plan.
awesome. I think it's really
Love
cool. I
it.
like hearing the differences in all the different stories
Yeah.
and the things they evoked and how they were personalized in a way. Just, you'd be able to kind of connect to them. But we all heard the same thing and connected differently. I think it's really, really interesting. I've been playing around with this one. And this is one of the original ones that I created, one of the earlier Audiojack. So I don't tell the story because this one's one I really have a tough time divorcing the story that I came up with when I made this one. There's other ones our teams of creators have made and stuff like that. But for this one, though, I really worked at trying to create a different narrative. And for me, I got just like a lot of imagery of like really open pastures and it reminded me of like I was on the road once and I was in this open field, like in the Midwest, and it was just fields and pastures and things like that. And it was like nighttime and kind of gloomy and cloudy and had a lot of those elements with it. The actual story I came up with, I kept trying to think of different things with it, but I wanted to make it like a revolve around something haunted in a way. And I kept trying to think of like a house that was like in the middle of this field that just kept changing as you walked through it. And those were all the different sounds. And it just started shifting based on different personalities around this person inside it. And so that's kind of what I got with it. But it was also me really trying to divorce myself from what the actual thing, because I never tell anyone when I came up with a narrative because I would ruin it for everyone. It's stupid. And so I was really trying to come up with something with it, but I came up with this idea. I've never thought of that before, but it helped me come up with a different idea of this concept of like, that might be an interesting, show or movie to go produce, like this house this guy's in, and it consistently changes and transforms on different levels or things like that. So
yeah, the fact that it changes based on emotions of the person, that's crazy.
Oh, I like that.
Like that's a concept I've never heard of. That's cool.
Yeah, so I kind of like that idea. But it's also, if you think about that, like on a deeper level, people's homes relate to them based on what they're feeling inside the home. So it could be something like that and explore and make it like some really deep movie. But anyway, that's what I came up with.
That's
like
cool.
This is awesome.
Love that.
Great. This is really nice.
This is fun.
David, what'd you think, man? What's going on? How you doing?
I loved it. I'm stuck on that whole idea of living in a house where the rooms change with your feelings. That would be amazing, right? Can you imagine if you wake up and you're just feeling like your whole house is blue, and then you get the annoying phone call from your boss, and you go in the bathroom and it's like bright red, and there's like
It's not hard
on
to
the
do.
wall.
Spikes coming out of the wall or something, and you're just like.
That's very funny.
Well, that's terrifying.
Well, I was like,
maybe just a color change.
Well, I was like, if you're angry,
right? She's like
what
just get a really good gaffer in your set. Get a good lighting director, and you're fine.
This is so my thing.
That's neat. Yeah, this is what we do here with this.
I mean, I can't get over it. Like I love the idea that you can create your own story. But you know what I really like the most about it is that you're not, a lot of these and even this isn't a relaxation thing, but like a lot of these relaxation things, they have these parameters. Like you have to be in a quiet place, you have to be laying down, you have to have your eyes closed. When I saw you guys writing, when I looked up while I was in my focused state, I thought, oh, I'm doing something wrong because everyone's writing and I'm not writing. Should I be writing right
I wasn't
now?
writing.
No, well, you weren't. No, you weren't writing. I think it was Mike. Mike's in the center of my Zoom thing, so I keep
Oh,
looking
okay.
at Mike and Lindsay, like back and forth. And I saw him writing, and I'm like, I wonder what he's writing.
Oh yeah, I'm
Am I
always
supposed to be
writing.
writing? Well, yeah, it flipped me out. So I realized at the end I didn't need to be writing. So that's what's so cool is like
Mhm.
you can use this. Like I love to disappear, especially in New York City. Like you get on the subway, and you know that you have, like living in New York, I could have no vision and I could get to where I needed to go because you followed the same path every day. So if you have like a 30-45 minute ride on the train and you don't necessarily want to put on like, Beyonce, or if you listen to Beyonce, you could put on Audiojack and you could kind of like, being an actor, you're on your way to an audition, right? So you don't want to be so relaxed that you fall asleep, but you do want to have your outlets open so you're able to
Mhm.
take things in, because it's not really about what you've created, it's about how you're taking in what the people are feeding you to create a visual of what they want. So this is very cool because you could it warms your brain up. Like I could put it in and I could be on my way to an audition and who knows what the hell they're going to ask you to do. I mean, Jesus Christ, I could tell you so many horrible stories. So you put your headset on and but you know what I mean? It hones you in to a place where you're kind of like, you're creating a scenario. And then by the time you get there, you're open. Do you know what I mean? Like you're
Mhm.
open, and when you walk in the building, you're open because it only lasts like you're like a flower, and then you slowly start to go back into like your shell or your you
Cocoon.
know cocoon. Yeah, yeah. So I
Mhm.
like that. I like that it was able to do that. It's like getting your heart rate up. You go for a run, get your heart rate up, and then it stays beating fast, but eventually it goes back. This is kind of like that, but for your brain, and it gets everything going, and yet it doesn't keep you awake.
Mhm.
You see what I mean? Because you don't want something keeping you awake when you try and fall asleep if you're using it for that. It just stimulates. So I'm shocked that I'm so into it. I didn't think I was going to be. I mean, I didn't know what I was coming into. And this, I
I'm
mean,
Yeah.
it
not.
kind of blew
You're
my
coming
mind.
into the dark side.
For real.
Well,
Well,
let's
yeah,
join
Join
the science
us.
fiction people, I think, because I'm listening to your stories about robots and I'm like, these people see robots. I don't, like, if I hear,
I'm a sci-fi dork, so
oh,
that's
Yeah.
no, I'm
just
Well,
not
that's
like that.
Guilty.
that's the
Yeah.
beauty
yeah,
of it. I
So,
mean,
guilty
yeah.
as
and
charged.
that's a really neat thing about David is that it can be anything. It could be that element of it, and it's really nice to hear your take on this too, because I'm watching someone really experience what we create here and seeing how visceral it is for you and how impactful
Mhm.
it is, and that's really
Yeah.
it's nice to see that
I loved
especially
it.
Yeah,
since you
it
came in not
is.
knowing anything to this,
I didn't
knowing
know
what you were
what I
going to
was
be
going to
asked at.
experience. Yeah, yeah. And
You've
I
been
like that
audio jack.
there's, I've
Yeah,
been audio
you've been
jacked.
jacked.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. A slogan was born.
Yes,
Yes,
jacked.
you've been audio jacked.
Yes,
And then,
getting
Get
jacked, man.
jacked.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, and it's
I
great because
really
it's like,
liked it.
and the thing is, like, when you put on, yeah, and when you're using the app, like, it turns off automatically when you're done. Like, you hit repeat and it just turns off. So you have to worry about your phone running out of battery or whatever. It just, I mean, most of us plug them in at night, but still, it's just so
Yeah,
simple.
that's awesome.
Well, I'm thinking of things I want to hear. Like, like there's
Yeah.
certain sounds that I associate with. Like I hear them right away and I'm like, oh, I love that sound. Like the color blue doesn't have a sound, but like I see blue, I'm like, oh, blue, relaxed. When I hear things like ocean, when I hear, oh, wind, I get cold. So it puts me into a space. Like it gets me into like a space, like a creative space. I keep saying creative,
Yep.
but it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? It feeds you
It
that
puts you in a certain frame of
stimulus.
mind.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I really dig that. I really, really do. I mean, you don't know, you've hit some buttons with me with this. Um,
That's
yeah,
really nice,
because it's,
David. I'm glad you were able to come
yeah,
out and be a part of this. That's really
yeah, I
awesome that
Yeah.
you
loved
were
it.
able to be here with us. And thank you, Elizabeth, for putting this together with us.
Yes,
Of course.
Elizabeth.
I know, David. Thank you so much.
Elizabeth,
for
how
being
can I
part
not
of
know you
this.
were from South Jersey?
I lived in
I
New
didn't wanna
York
say
for a
anything,
while
but-
too.
She's like, I'm in South Jersey and I saw
Yeah.
aliens. I'm like, well, if you're going to see them anywhere, it'll be in South Jersey.
No,
Oh,
I'm
nice.
We have the Pine
in
Barrens.
South Jersey right now.
I live
Yeah.
right near the Pine Barrens, so.
Oh, there you go.
Ow.
Man.
Yeah, and to all you out there watching, thank you for tuning in and experiencing this. We didn't get a chance to read your stories. I'm sorry. We will next time on next Friday, and read the stories. that
working
you
out the
did,
kinks.
things like that. Yeah, absolutely. This is great. This was awesome.
Yeah,
What a great way to
thank you
start the
so much,
weekend.
guys.
Very
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Mike and Lizzie, for
It
coming
was
out. This was
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time and your minds. Thank you all. Thank you, David.
Thank
Big round of
you.
applause for our
Thank you,
guests.
guys.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
that
much,
was
David.
awesome.
Good job,
Thank
David.
you.
I had a
Thanks,
really
David.
good time. I'm surprised. I
Yeah.
like am kind of like all like.
Great. Yeah, you're welcome back
Audiojack,
anytime,
you know.
man. This was wonderful.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
sweet.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night, everyone. We'll see
All
you next
right.
week.
Stay
Yeah,
safe.
take
See you
care.
next week.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe, y'all.